Oh, I don't know about signs. Let's just say we left a lot of opportunities on the field. You know, when it was when the score was 7-6, I felt like there were a great many opportunities for us to make some plays that, you know, would have put us up earlier, you know, than the touchdown that we scored. You know, and we didn't make the plays for whatever reason. Some were close, you know, the wheel route on our boundary and a couple drops and, you know, a couple missed assignments, and otherwise I think, you know, we have a lead going into the fourth quarter, but missed opportunities early. And you know, it's funny, the longer you coach, you look at those games and you can just feel it when it's a close, hard-fought game like that and you're missing opportunities. There's always that danger that it's going to come back and bite you late, you know.
Is that a lesson the team needed to learn? It seems like it's one that's been learned a few times, but does it
Couple times. No, it's not. I see, and I would disagree with that, because I just think that, you know, the close loss against Middle Tennessee was a game where we were making plays, they were making plays. It was one of those, you know. This was a totally different game in my respect. It was, you know, it was a battle of endurance, and it was almost like, you know, who was going to break first. And so I think that type of game was a new experience for our guys. At least since I've been here, we haven't been in that type of low-scoring, kind of back-and-forth game to the end.
How did they respond to it, given that it was a new circumstance? You've been so proud of the way they've responded to other losses and even wins.
Well, there's a lot of determination in that room, and I don't, you know, again, I am proud of this team, the way they fight, the way they come back and play every week. And let me just say that, you know, we had a team meeting last night, and there's certainly a lot of determination in that room.
Is that a normal scheduled team meeting?
Yes. Typically, if we play a home game or an afternoon game, we get a light run around on Sunday night. When we get back at 4:30 like we did, we have a lift and a team meeting.
Was it a little longer than normal, or?
Well, we get film. No, it was just a team meeting, you know, typically an hour. No different than ever. Talk about the previous game, the upcoming week, put away the film from the previous day. That's our normal schedule.
Where does the quarterback situation stand? How's Quez's shoulder, and did Greg do enough to put himself into contention to get more playing time, regardless of?
Yeah, I think Greg performed very well. You know, made some nice throws, and really, for most of the ball game, really stepped up and battled, and you know, against a good defense. And so, yeah, I think Greg certainly is in contention, but I would say he's been in contention all along. Difficult for me to say about Quez. You know, where he is now, you know, he had made improvement. Just a bruise, you know, everything was negative on his shoulder, so it's just simply a bruise. And, you know, just wasn't ready to go on Saturday, but with, you know, Saturday treatments, Sunday treatments, and Monday treatments, you know, I expect to see hopefully a full recovery by tomorrow.
This time last week, did you expect him to play in that game?
I didn't know. You know, I knew last Monday everything came back negative, all the tests. So, you know, the way the doctors explain it to me, it's just the depth of the bruise and you know, getting treatments and hoping. And he improved as the week went on. It just didn't improve to the point where we felt like it was fair to throw him out there, because his arm strength certainly wasn't what it was, you know, prior to the Middle Tennessee game.
How much arm strength loss are we talking about? Was it he couldn't even get a 15-yard out?
Oh no, he could throw that. I mean, it was just an oomph. That not deep throw, but the intermediate throw, you could just tell he just didn't have the same zing on the ball, and it was painful for him to make those throws. So,
was there also concern regarding him running the ball because he drops his shoulder?
I was, you know, all that, you know, I just didn't think it was fair for him to throw him out there. And you know, he really didn't take many reps during the week, and you know, it's a little different if you're an offensive lineman or a defensive lineman, but when you're the quarterback, and you know, certainly each game plan is a little bit different, and you're not getting any reps during the week, it's hard to go out there on Saturday and take the position back.
How did the game plan change with Greg in? It looked like you guys tried to use more deep passing routes, and it worked early in the game. Had actually a couple times of success with running 9 routes on the sidelines.
I think that the way they pressed into the boundary, we thought like we had an advantage there with Dukes, and especially, you know, that probably would have been the plan there, rolling their coverage of the field and just singling that guy up in press coverage of the boundary. So that was part of the game plan.
So with this injury to Johnson, do you see Hankerson starting this week, getting the start?
No, I didn't say that. I don't think Johnson is injured any longer, and you know, that'll be up to our offensive coaches and how they practice this week. But certainly, I'm not one to ever take a position away for an injury. I don't believe you lose your position through injury. And so Quez will come back and have every opportunity to be our quarterback this week.
Do you expect him to practice full tomorrow?
I have not spoken with the trainers today, but in just knowing where he was on Thursday and then having the weekend to rest, my guess would be yes.
Do you foresee a situation that Hankerson played well enough that he may be back in a rotation just to give a different look and feel to the offense?
I don't know. Not yet. It would just be a matter of seeing where Quez is tomorrow.
I mean, I guess what I'm saying, would you entertain that, or do you want to pick a guy and have that be the guy for Saturday?
Yeah, I think that's where I'm leaning. Yeah.
To pick one guy.
What do you see on the tape from UAB? They've had a pretty rough start to the season.
But they've scored a lot of points. They're a good offensive football team. They've got a couple wideouts that, boy, look good. Even against LSU, we're getting behind their secondary and really stretching the field. They're a very good running team, and then they'll stretch you vertically and go deep a lot in the course of a game. And they've got some real speed out there to do so, and have had a lot of success doing that. Maybe the best running back we'll face this year. You know, and I include Duke Johnson in that. I mean, you know, he's really good. He's physical. He's fast. He's had success. I think he ran for 180 yards against LSU. So I think our defense will be really challenged this week. Defensively, they're young, but they're getting better every week. And you know, made a couple mistakes against Vanderbilt, or that game might have been different. So I think it's going to be a challenge. I think they're as good an offensive football team as we face this year, and they give you a lot of different looks and a lot of different personnels and a lot to cope with. And you know, they're good up front and they're well coached, and it'll be a challenge.
Clearly it's good to see the defense bounce back from that low point at Middle Tennessee and play a game like they did, with the challenge being so. I guess there's a bigger challenge now in UAB being able to run the ball so effectively and pass the ball so effectively. Did you need that confidence heading into the game, or was the confidence always high and you considered it a blip even at the moment it happened?
I've seen steady progress, and I do feel like, you know, as I said last week, I don't know if a blip is the right word, because I was somewhat disappointed in our performance against Middle Tennessee, but I also felt like it was correctable errors, you know, and I think our guys really hurt their ego a little bit, that performance, and you could see them lock in just a little tighter last week, and they were determined to put a better performance on the field, which they did. Now the challenge is to repeat that performance against a strong offensive team. So they've got their work cut out for them.
Have you seen any change in the temperament of the defensive players, especially the leaders on the defense, considering that they've had 3 extremely good defensive games and lost 2 of them thus far?
No, because, you know, I think they can look at the tape and say we had opportunities seal the game the other way. And we made some mistakes. We let them flip the field a few times with some quarterback scrambles on third down, which were, very preventable. And so, as you watch it from a defensive perspective, yeah, we played well, but we still could have played better, and we still could have put our offense in better shape, especially in terms of field position. In that first half, we had a number of opportunities to get off the field and create a short field for our offense, and we let them do just enough to flip the field and put our offense down on the 15 or 20 to start the series, and that's a difficult score against that defense. So we could have played better on both sides of the ball, and probably could have found out more opportunities to win on both sides of the ball.
How important was Sean Kelly in that last game?
He's just a weapon. I think someone told me this morning that he is now the number one punter in the conference in terms of his average, and certainly in a game like that becomes very important. And he just continues to impress me, with how he performs every Saturday. So.
On the flip side of that, Mitch missed a field goal early in the game, and then you guys opted to go for it on fourth deep in Rice territory. Was that just a decision of let's ice the game and finish this off, or did you wait a little bit with Mitch going out there and making that field goal?
Probably a little bit of both. I mean, in the 2 years we've been here, we're operating. We were at about 100% in terms of fourth and less than a yard, and so, I felt percentage-wise that was a good gamble, and we got stopped.
But if Mitch had made that field goal earlier, it might have. I mean, obviously it's hypothetical, but if Mitch had made that field goal earlier, it would have been perhaps a more difficult decision for you to make.
Perhaps, but his Achilles heel has been that left hash, and that wasn't the situation on that kick, and so that's something we'll work on. But we were on the right hash when I opted to go for it, and so I don't know how much that played into it.
How much did you guys as coaches kind of sit down and take yourself to task for the way that game ended? And then what do you think was the most important thing you learned from it?
I was pretty hard on myself after the game, I think. And, like always, you do some soul searching and you go through it and you think, what could I have done differently? I think philosophically I've never been one to play it safe. I felt like, first of all, the fumble that happened, we were 8 minutes to go in the game. We were just running our offense, and that was just a fluke thing. It probably never happens again as long as he's a quarterback here. Then with 4.5 minutes to go, I told Brian, run your offense, and I never would have forgiven myself had I just run the ball 3 times into a pretty stout defense where run yards were hard to come by, and punted the ball away to perhaps the best place kicker in the league, with a 2-point lead. So that's something I didn't want to do. I felt a first down was important, not that it would have sealed the game or ended the game, but it would have flipped the field enough that they truly would have had to earn field goal position, From there, you look and you say, before you learn how to win, I think you have to learn how not to lose. And so you look at having a true freshman out there, and maybe just for that one night you change your philosophy, and you lay it in the hands of the defense, even though you're putting them in a very difficult situation. But we don't throw that interception. We're having a different conversation right now. And so it's easy to be 20/20 in hindsight. It's easy. Thought we made the best decisions we could with in terms of discussions that we had all along, in terms of who we were going to be. We were going to be aggressive in those situations, and that's who we wanted to be as a football team. And, it's easy. Again, it's just easy to be 20/20 in hindsight.
How was Hankerson emotionally, mentally after that game? Is it different now?
I think, I think it was a real learning experience for Greg, and I think sometimes a young guy will just try to do too much, and make every correct decision in terms of what he's coached to do, but perhaps not take into account the time of the game or what's happening, and so, I think it was an important part of his development. He had to be in a situation like that, and sometimes, coming up short is the best teacher, but I think, Greg and that's one reason, that's one reason we made some of the decisions we did, because he is such a gamer, and he's such a confident kid, and he's just got a swagger about him that you don't, you just, as a coach, you tend to have a lot of confidence in him, and I still feel that way, and he still has that demeanor. So.
Seeing as how Quez had taken the starting role, and you guys had wanted to get Greg in there more and get him some experience, not only to, he was correcting things out on the practice field, but you have to get that game experience because he seemed like the lights were a little too bright for him early on. You wanted to get him out there. In hindsight, is that getting a full game and getting the full gambit of emotions out there for him, and winning a game and losing a game at the same time may be the best thing in the long run?
Yes, for the development of Greg, and in some ways for the development of this team, it was a valuable night for us, and it'll be a little bit easier for him next time, and certainly he made enough plays and did enough good things in that game that his next experience he should approach with a lot of confidence, because he did it against what, again, I'll say it, a very good Rice defense, and it was not an easy thing for a young quarterback to go in and play against that defense, and he did, and he battled, and he did a lot of good things.
Turnovers again came up. It seems like it's a different way every time that these things are happening. How do you stop it? How do you correct it?
Just keep coaching it, On our offensive goal board, the #1 goal is to take care of the ball. And we start practice every day with a ball control type of drill, to prevent, how to put two hands on the football, how to take hits. Some of it inexperience. Again, I would go back to sometimes it's just guys trying to do too much and made a great play already, get a second hand on the ball and take the hit and move on to the next play, and so just got to keep emphasizing that, and with a young team, in terms of experience, especially at skilled positions, that it happens. You gotta grow through it, but I mean, you're right. We need to improve in that area.
At this juncture in the season, with you guys being in so many games and having wins kind of come off the board at junctures, is there, I don't want to say desperation, but is there more pressure now, knowing that you guys probably have the talent to be a bowl-eligible team, but will now have to win 5 of your last 7 games to reach that point? It's kind of a loaded question.
Yeah, I know. Pressure, I feel pressure every week, whether we're 0-0 or 1-5 or 5-1. I don't know that it can change your preparation. I just know each week is a different opportunity, and certainly based on the last 2 weeks, we're going to be in a lot of games with that type of situation, and I think we just got to learn from them, and hopefully the result will change the next time we're in those types of situations.
Last year you talked about the hump being playing competitively in all these games and winning. And is the next hump winning those games? And
Yeah.
do you feel like you're on the precipice of getting over it?
I do, and I do believe that signature win, that one, is going to be so important to our development, and it'll come. We believe in the process. We believe in what we're doing, and I know our players believe it. And they keep practicing and preparing as hard as they do. That'll happen for us, and then who knows from that point on.
Looked like it was a pretty physical game. It kind of took its toll on some of your guys. How healthy is the team right now?
I mean, as healthy as you can be with the schedule we've had. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It's been a brutal schedule. 4 of 5 on the road. That's a lot of travel. It's a lot of missed sleep. We've played some physical games. You know, East Carolina was a very physical game. Middle Tennessee was physical. South Florida was physical. Miami, Rice. I can't think of a game that wasn't a very physical game. So, but that's why you have depth, and that's why you play a lot of guys. And certainly at this point in the season, every team is starting to face that a little bit. So.
The offensive line in particular looked like it took a couple hits.
I feel okay about our depth there, and nothing. I don't feel like there's anything that's gonna keep guys out of practice or.
Is Ike going to be back?
Oh yeah, Ike will be back.
When it comes to the defensive performances, it seems the one game where you guys haven't performed all that well is the one game you didn't have a sack. Is that the bell cow of the defense being able to get to the quarterback, or more so being able to bring him down?
In some respects, that's something, as we look at, or how I look at defense, the big thing is winning third down and TFLs and sacks, and a lot of studies have shown those are 2 big indicators of defensive success. So, sure, you look at a game where you're in the backfield getting lost yardage plays, getting sacks, you're usually going to put a good defensive performance together.
But you wouldn't say it's a byproduct where sort of everything trickles down?
Well, I think so. I mean, to a degree, Dieter, yeah, because when you're getting sacks, sometimes it's from a great rush and sometimes it's from great coverage. So typically it's an indicator that you're playing pretty good pass defense.
Do you look forward to seeing your cornerbacks match up against these UAB receivers?
Yeah, our cornerbacks are playing at a high level, DJ and Keith, and again, probably the most. Well, I shouldn't say that. We've played some pretty good receivers. I think Middle Tennessee threw some good ones out there, and as did East Carolina, and I think they performed admirably in both situations. So certainly, when you're playing a game like this, they're going to take enough shots that they'll make a play or two. We've got to be able to put that behind us and have a short memory and move on. But I like our corners. I've said that. And they continue to play at this level, they're going to give us a chance. Thanks.
Thank you.